it in English? Yeah. Yeah. Hello and welcome everyone to Working on Clouds, where we look at your work life and we're trying to make it as smooth and cushy as you are walking on clouds. And there's a big fly in this room, right? Can you hear it? I don't know. We can hear it. So the fly should quit. Yes. It should not commit, that's true. But it's a big question actually that many of you have, right? Whether that is about a job or that this is about maybe smaller decisions or smaller behavior. But should you stop or should you go on? Should you enter or should you exit? These are the questions to reflect upon. And what I find really interesting in this context is the concept of grit. So grit is a term coined by Angela Duckworth, who I very much admire for her work. And basically grit is like perseverance towards a goal. So how much grit do you have? And generally speaking, of course, it's really good to have grit, because if you pursue and if you really like work on something, that's of course a good thing. But I do wonder sometimes if those people who have a lot of grit also have a hard time to quit. So basically, I mean, you can do like tests out there. Angela has come up with a scale that you can of course do to see how much grit you have. But I think sometimes you can also just simplify it with thinking about what we call in German Wadenbeißer. So my dad, when I was younger, always called me a Wadenbeißer, which is here. You bite into the, what do we call this in English? Le mollet? Oui? Okay, so, okay. We see, I need to explain it a bit more. So think about a little dog or a big dog who bites into the leg, the underleg, which we've forgotten what it's called. So we just pointed it, okay? And then it bites in there and it doesn't let go. So basically for me sometimes, if you have a lot of grit, that's great. But when do you know to let go? Because sometimes you can grit onto a thing just because you're so gritty, yes, but it would have actually been much better to quit there. And there's some cool work out there by Lady Klotz on, well, especially basically about happy quitting, I would say. The book is called Subtract. So, you know, instead of always adding more things or persevering in things, sometimes in order to quit, we have to subtract things. So you know how we have all these to-do lists? You should also start a don't-do list or quit list or stop doing list. So I know this sounds really weird because I mean we're talking in this channel a lot about goals and, you know, achieving things and happiness, but I think in order to be happy, we also sometimes need to know when to quit and when to commit. So I want you all to start a stop doing list or a I quit list. So what are the things you want to stop doing? So yeah, you can create also more time for the things and activities where you actually do want to grit about. Because sometimes I think also what we do is we have so many little things. So we do a little bit on this, we do a little bit on this, a little bit on that. And it's much better to maybe say, okay, these are my 3 main things and I really want to focus on that. I always love this image of, you know, you have like a big glass kind of like bowl, and you have like big rocks and you have smaller stones and you have sand. Now if you fill this whole glass all with sand, then there's no more room for the big rocks, and the big rocks should be your important things in life where you want to grit, where you want to persevere. And then some of maybe the sand can be things where you can quit, so you can subtract and you can stop doing that, so you can create more room for these important big stones. Yeah, so check that out, and I think quit and quitting is good. So happy quitting, and commit only on the big stones. Thank you so much. See you next time.